I want to talk to you today about self-sabotage and how that relates to self-confidence and self-esteem, and how you can build up your self-esteem in order to minimize your chances of self-sabotaging. So when I worked in advertising back in the day, one of my biggest anxieties, one of my biggest frustrations, one of my biggest trigger points, one of my biggest panic attack triggers, if you like, was the feeling and the belief and the kind of sense of pervading doom that I wasn't living up to and living into my full potential. And this happens a lot, and especially for a lot of high performers, is that they don't believe and don't think that they're living into their full potential, and it causes a hell of a lot of frustration and annoyance and doubt, quite frankly, that they'll ever achieve what they were born to do. So there's a reason this happens, and I wish someone had told me this when I was struggling with self-sabotage back in the day. So what you want to know is that self-confidence in a nutshell is what you believe you're capable of achieving. So you might believe that you're capable of writing the next $1 trillion movie. You might believe you're capable of having that global CEO role. You might believe you're capable of quitting that job and becoming a rock star or whatever it is. The thing is, self-confidence is something a lot of coaches can help you with, and it's quite easy to fix, right? Self-esteem is different because you don't self-sabotage yourself consciously. It's an unconscious conflict that's going on. That's what self-sabotage is an unconscious conflict, or as I prefer to call it, subconscious bullshit. Now, the part of the conflict is, I believe that I'm capable of achieving X. Now, the self-esteem part, the self-esteem is your reputation with yourself. Yeah, I'll repeat that. Your self-esteem is your reputation with yourself. It is what you believe you're worthy of. Yeah? So if there is a conflict, if there's a clash between that, what you believe you're capable of, which is high, what you believe you're worthy of, which is low because you have low self-esteem, you will unconsciously sabotage your best efforts time and time again for anything up to a lifetime. I know, I've been there, I've coached people through this 1 trillion times as well. So what we want to do is, how can we increase our self-esteem? Well, there's loads of books written on it, and there's loads of bullshit knocking about it, but it's very, very simple. Self-esteem is a points system. When you do something, a behavior that is in alignment with what you ideally see yourself as, your ideal identity, you get a +1 on your self-esteem score. When you do something that is not in alignment with what your desired identity is, you get a -1. Your self-esteem drops. So the more you do things that are not in alignment with what you know you have inside of you as a human being, when it's not in alignment with that higher identity of yours, your self-esteem drops. So the question would be, how can I raise my self-esteem? Don't lower the bar, whatever you do. Keep your ambitions high and keep the self-confidence going high, because now we're going to raise your self-esteem. How do we do that? Your self-confidence is what you believe you're capable of achieving. But your unconscious mind doesn't give a shit about things. It doesn't care about Ferraris and Porsches and money and status and pension packages and all that kind of stuff. All your unconscious cares about is, who are you when you have that stuff and how do you feel? It's an identity level thing. So what you want to do is think about what it is you want to achieve, whether it is to be that global CEO, whether it is to be that 7-figure founder, whether it is to create that multi-trillion-dollar movie. Think about what it is you want, and then ask yourself, who do I need to be in order to have this thing? Who do I need to be in order to have this thing? And what do I need to do that is in alignment with that way of being that's going to get me that thing? Then what you need to do is start doing things, behaviors, actions that are in alignment with your new desired identity that will enable you to reach your target. When you do that, every time you do something that is in alignment with it, you get a +1 on your self-esteem. You believe you're more worthy of achieving it because your reputational score goes up. Yeah? When your reputational score goes up, you close the gap between what you are capable of being and what you are actually being. You minimize the chance of self-sabotage because there is less unconscious conflict going on. So decide what it is you want. Decide who you need to be in order to get there. Do a lot of stuff consistently that is in alignment with that identity. Your self-esteem will go up. You will stop, well, partly stop self-sabotaging. If you want to really get into the nuts and bolts of this and kind of eliminate that shit for good and within a couple of hours, give us a call, but try this first.